Um, I am an instructor who believes in leading by example. So you have a very good question. So here's the answer. First, you want to have all of your pieces in place. If you notice, we have the logo is here, the image is here, and the text is here. Now, this is just this sample. You could try another approach, but this approach is very simple and it reads and it flows. But since these are all individual elements, I can scale them apart from each other. For example, or I can move them around apart from each other. For example, if I take the logo, I can scale it and make it smaller. Or I can take the image, I can make it smaller. Okay. Or I can take the text and I can, well, I can do things with it. I can maybe make this a little bit narrower to come off the margin a little bit. Let me see if I do this. Okay, but I have these are all separate elements, so I can do anything that I choose to do. All right, now that being said, as far as the output is concerned, as you can see, this image, and this is where the designer, the graphic designer's eye comes in. This image is cropped just below the hips. So if you take this image and if you just place it on the document, it's going to look very awkward because it's going to look like it's floating on the page. But if you try to anchor it, for example, by bringing it all the way down to the bleed area, at least it looks like it was intentional, that the photographer and the designer were in one accord. And when the shot was taken, even though it's cropped just below the waist, it looks like it belongs in the ad. So, as far as the layout is concerned, this layout works. So now, as if you can see that these elements, the bottom of her skirt, the background, it's bleeding off the page. So when we say crops and bleeds, because this is what the printer is going to require, we're going to say File. We're going to go to Export, all right, and we're going to make it, of course, we're going to make it a Adobe Print, okay, and then when we say Save, very, very, very straightforward. We're going to go down to Marks and Bleeds, all right. We want crop marks. As you can see, there's a whole bunch of options you have here, but for the most part, unless it is requested, all you need is the crop marks here, and then when you click on Use Document Bleeds, because the bleed was already built into the layout before we even went for the export option, when I click on Use Document Bleeds, this grays out because the bleed area is already there. So I have crop marks and I have bleeds. All right, and then I recommend to view PDF after exporting. So if you're in general, view PDF after exporting, so that when you export it, you'll see exactly what it's going to look like when your PDF is generated and you send that to your printer. So right now, you can see that this PDF file is generating, and here it is. And as you can see, here are the crop marks, and as you can see, the bleed. I'll zoom in so you can see this. And we don't need bleed marks. We just need to have the image bleeding off so that these crop marks represent the trim, and this is the area that goes beyond the trim. Okay, so when I say I need a PDF with crops and bleeds, this is it. Here are the crop marks, and here are the bleeds. And the bleed is that area that goes just beyond the trim, so that when this job is trimmed down, it'll have the appearance of appearing or looking like the image is actually imaging to the edge of the page.